Marisa Ugarte is best known as the founder and executive director of the Bilateral Safety Corridor Coalition. Her organization is an alliance of over 60 government and nonprofit agencies in the U.S. and Latin America. It transcends borders to defend the human rights of enslaved and trafficked women, children, and men. Born in Mexico City, Marisa grew up in both Mexico and the United States and was always drawn to the work of helping and protecting those who were less fortunate.
It's just like it's there. The advocacy for children, the advocacy for women and men that are being labor exploited and whose human rights are violated, it's there.
Although she has not been without hard times, Marisa maintains that there were never low times.
But I had no clue. Yet I did have the love and the drive for my children and for whatever I was going to do with my children to make a difference in the world. It was there.
Marisa's passion for supporting women and children in need led her to create the Binational Crisis Line in Tijuana in 1974. As an extension of the San Diego Crisis Line, Marisa helped build a bridge between the United States and Mexico to protect those vulnerable to exploitation regardless of cultural boundaries.
An adolescent is still a child, and that we protect them until they are 12 and then they become a nuisance. But that nuisance that they think is a nuisance be erased and recognize that we need to work very hard to make those children our future adults, functioning adults. So if I had a magic wand, I would change society on that perspective. Because the least advocated for are the youth and the young adults.
Marisa works to educate law enforcement, local governments, and the public on issues of sex and domestic slavery, as well as human trafficking of young girls in San Diego and Tijuana. The organization works with the U.S. Department of Justice, the U.S. State Department, and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for funding, prosecution, and services to victims. Most people are unaware of the large nature of that human trafficking.
This is an industry. This is organized crime, and it holds both men and women. And yes, some of the people that are recruited become recruited. But that's part of the paradigm of what happened to domestic violence too. Some of the women that have been battered become batterers. Or the children who have learned from that example become abusers.
According to Health and Human Services, this modern-day form of slavery creates victims who are subjected to force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of sexual exploitation or forced labor. Victims are young children, boys and girls, teenagers, men and women.
When you have a woman that is in human trafficking and you understand the type of brainwashing that goes on, the ultimate state of these women is total dehumanization. What that means is that anybody that is being trafficked, whether it's a man, a woman, or a child, will respond to two conditions only: punishment and reward. I had conversations with girls that say, oh, he only beats me when I don't make my quota. Or I don't get to have dinner that night just because I didn't make my quota. But he's very nice to me and buys me clothes and takes me to the beauty parlor and have my nails done.
It was her tireless efforts in working to bring an end to human trafficking that has earned her numerous awards, such as the Ambassador Award from the International Foundation for Human Rights and Tolerance and the Amnesty International Dinga Award. With over 30 years of activism, Marisa is responsible for bettering the lives of countless women, children, and men who have been affected by human trafficking.
It's hard, but just knowing that you saved a life and that you contributed, and knowing that you're going to send one person at a time on the right path is something that you should look into. Don't let politics, don't let anybody change what is in your heart. Follow your heart first. There's always time to think, but don't lose your heart in what you're doing.
Please welcome Marisa Ugarte to the San Diego County Women's Hall of Fame.